Well, today's Trash to Treasure project is a cute little outdoor plant pot to put outside of your dollhouse. Stay tuned and see how fun and easy this is to do. Alright, so for our Trash to Treasure today, we are starting with this little guy. And if you've got one of those coffee makers that uses the K-cups, you probably recognize this. I think anybody that's got a Keurig type coffee maker has like a zillion of these cups. I do, and I don't even use the disposable K-cups very often, and I still get a bunch of them. So I was looking at this one and I realized that, especially this shape, I love this shape. I've got some that are just plain, but this one has ridges and it reminds me of a planter I saw when I was out shopping. It was one that was an outside planter and it was really pretty and it was about this size, and I thought this will work. So the first step, since this is plastic and I don't have any special plastic craft paint, I'm going to take this outside and I'm going to spray paint it with a primer that is compatible with plastic. And when my primer is completely dry, both the inside and the outside, then I'll come back and we'll paint this. Alright, so this is coated in a black flat primer coat and it's ready to paint. And what I've got, and I have no idea if this is a current color or not, it's a ceramic coat in terracotta. It's my favorite. I hope they still have it because it's my favorite for replicating terracotta pots. Come on. Okay, you're going to argue with me. It's an older container of paint. I shook it up a while ago. Oh, that's why. Okay. I'm going to have to replace it soon. So this is just a matter of a couple of coats. We all know how to paint, right? So I am going to turn the camera off. I'm going to paint probably 2 coats. I think 2 will do it. And it will be 2 coats on the outside and about halfway down the inside. I don't need to go all the way to the bottom. Now if you were going to, because I'm going to put a plant in it. I'm going to plant my planter. If you were going to do, like say, a scene like a garden store or something, you could paint these all the way to the bottom and then they could be a display of like planters that are for sale. So I'm going to let this coat dry and I am going to get a second coat on it and then I'll paint the inside, and when that's done I'll be back. Alright, so our paint is painted and dried. I didn't bother to paint down there, and I'm hoping that this glue doesn't melt my foam. I haven't actually tried it. But first, I'm going to put a little pool of glue and kind of in the middle. And I have 3 like nuts. I want weight. We want some weight at the bottom of this, because if we don't weight it down, it's going to be very tippy. Now I've cut some foam. Kind of cut just a block. And this is just some of that builder's foam that I've been using for years and years and years. Poke it down so it's about even with that inside rim. And then I'm going to shove in some more pieces. It's a little too big. I just want to cover so it looks halfway solid. There, that's good enough. Now, we need to paint that. I want that brown. And it doesn't have to be neat. We're going to just put some brown paint over it. That way, because our next step, if you've watched me do any kind of plants before, you know what the next step is. We are going to let this paint dry, Then we're going to put some coffee grounds on there with some glue. So that needs to dry, and then I'll be back. Alright, now my paint's mostly dry. I don't know if I mentioned or not, this is just ceramic coat in a dark brown. This one happens to be espresso. Now we're going to put our potting soil or dirt on the top, and then we're going to stick a plant in there. Now keep in mind this is supposed to be like one of those big outside planters, so we want something that will look right for that. And I didn't have time to go get something special for it, so I just went through my stash of plant-like things and found something I think will work. So first let's get some dirt on there. And my paint is not completely dry, so I've got a little bit of brown paint there swirling about. But it will dry. Now I've got coffee grounds. Remember, these are coffee grounds that have been used, and then they've been dried in the oven. We've used these many times on this channel. And while that glue is still wet, we want to put our plant in. And what I've got this little guy. And what I did is I started out with one of these little snow-covered Christmas trees. I picked up a big bag of these at Joann Fabrics a couple of years ago. And I took a couple of colors of green paint and I just kind of dry brushed that over all the white that was on here. And then I pulled the base off. And now I'm going to stick this in here. And it will look like, there we go. And that's all there is to it. You could add more plants or whatever, but now the dolls have something to stick out on the patio. We'll let the glue dry, and then we will dump off the extra coffee grounds / soil and see how this looks. Alright, it looks like our glue is dry enough that we can just drop off, kind of tap off any excess coffee grounds back into the jar, so we'll have them for next time. I hope you enjoyed today's Trash to Treasure project. This was a lot of fun, and you could vary this up by putting all kinds of different plants in these. You could really do some neat things for your outside part of your dollhouse. So be sure, if you make one, be sure and send me a picture of it. Either send it on to me via the blog post, or even easier, post it on the Facebook page. If you haven't found the Facebook page, be sure and follow the link to that and click on that like button. I can't talk today. Click the like button. It's the easiest way to not only get a hold of me, but also it's where I post if there's going to be any kind of variation in our schedule. So I'll talk to you later. Bye.